Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, everyone. In this time, I would like to share about my presentation. It is about contrastive analysis approach and error analysis. First, we are going to talk about the definition of contrastive analysis. Contrastive analysis is a study of linguistic elements. According to Ledo, 1975, contrastive analysis is a way to describe the difficulty or ease of language learners in learning a second or foreign language. Robert Ledo also said that contrastive analysis is often used to solve problems like transferring among languages. It is used sometimes in translating, and it can be used to avoid mistakes in learning foreign language as well. In other words, contrastive analysis is not only to compare linguistic elements and linguistic system in the first language with the second language, but also to compare and describe the cultural backgrounds of the two languages so that the results can be used for teaching a second language or a foreign language. The study of the linguistic elements was carried by comparing two linguistic data, namely the first language data with the second language data. The two languages data are described or analyzed. The result will be an explanation that describe the differences and similarities of the two languages. Well, here an example of contrastive analysis between Indonesia and English in some fields. First, in grammatical fields. In grammatical fields, here is, for example, in Indonesia, we say dia seorang guru, but in English, we say he or she is a teacher. With contrastive analysis, we can easily identify and describe recent examples. Just like if in Indonesia, we don't need to be is or am or are to make non-activity sentences, while in English, we need it. Another example, in the field of phonology, we say a in Indonesia, but it will be changed to be a if we say it or pronounce it in English. Well, we are going to discuss about error analysis. James 1998 said that an error tells the teacher what needs to be taught, tell the researcher how learning proceeds. In other words, error analysis is a set of procedures to identify, describe, and explain mistakes made by learners of language. There are several classifications of error analysis. Dole says that there are 4 classifications of error, namely, first, linguistic category taxonomy, the second is taxonomy of surface strategy, and then comparative taxonomy, and the last or the fourth, taxonomy of communicative effect. The first classification is linguistic category taxonomy. Dole explained that linguistic category taxonomy classify error according to either or both the language component, include phonology, syntax, morphology, semantics, and lexicon, and discourse. The second classification is surface strategy taxonomy. The taxonomy of the surface strategy is a classification system based on the ways in which the erroneous version of a learner differs from the presumed target version. This illustrates the form in which surface structure deviate. Learners may do something like omit required items or add unnecessary items or they may misform, just misformation, something like that, and misorder items. The third is comparative taxonomy. In comparative taxonomy, the classification of errors is based on the distinction between second language error structures and certain other forms of constructions. If you use comparative taxonomy to describe the mistakes of an Indonesian learning English, the layout of the mistakes of the student could be constructed with the mistakes recorded for children acquiring English as a first language. The last classification is communicative effect taxonomy. This form of taxonomy classifies mistakes on the basis of their effect on the listener or reader. It deals a great deal with the difference between mistakes that appear to cause miscommunication and those that do not. The conclusion is error and contrastive analysis are steps to overcome the language learners in language errors. Error analysis is a way of speaking or working step commonly used by the researcher or teacher to collect data, identify errors, explain the error, classify and evaluate the level of seriousness of the fault errors that occur in the language. While contrastive analysis is comparing the activities of linguists in the source language and the target language, either macrolinguistic or microlinguistic, to find differences and equations both languages. That's all my presentation. I'm really sorry if there are so many mistakes in my presentation. Thank you very much for your attention. And finally I say, wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.